Manchester United won, FC 21. I don't know why Manchester United like making things hard for themselves. So, sometimes I get tired of watching those guys. I don't like to get tired of watching. Onana again beating in his near post. That guy and his near post. I don't know. Just so
it's not. There's there was really nothing Onana would have done. Like that was a class finish. That was a class finish. I think we should give it to the player. But like, yeah, it was literally him versus the player, because the player who poked the ball off Eriksen and all that. Like at the time, no mind defender stood the chance rather to intercept. I think the closest was Mazraoui, who slided in, but unfortunately, didn't meet the ball. Like for me, it's on Erik. The moment 20 changed their system to a 4-4-2, and and then the longer the games stayed 1-0, they grew into the game, and I thought Erik would have seen this and quickly made substitution. Sometimes substitutions are not really about class. Substitutions should be about disruptions. Sometimes it's not always about. I understand that Eriksen probably have been having. The last 3 games have been very decent, scoring, assisting, and all that, and playing a very good game in terms of controlling the midfield and all that. But 20 was comfortable with almost 8 men behind the ball, and had Manchester United just passing the ball in their front, and they hoped for the counter. The moment they switched to the 4-4-2, they prayed, they longed for the counter, and they began to possess the ball. I think from the 7th to 8th minutes in the second half, they took charge of the game, and it was clear what their intent was. And their counter, I think prior to the goal, they had I think 1 or 2 counters that were promising, that seemed promising, and there was the long diagonal that was switched. So it went from left to right, from where I was watching, left to right, and that. So for me, it's on Erik. Honestly, it's on Erik. I just think that he waited for the substitutions too long. The game was begging for changes. It needed Garnacho. It maybe didn't even need a Kobe. It needed a Casemiro to then release Bruno. But good thing he brought in a Mount, no problem. But
what's up with Bruno? I don't really understand Bruno this season. What's up with Bruno? Bruno has been poor this season.
Yeah. Like maybe
it's because he didn't have a preseason. I don't just get that guy again. What's up?
But I can't.
He's trying to give me this Rashford vibe. After playing well, sign a new contract, then drop.
No, he's not. He's not dropping. It's not dropping. I don't think. I think Bruno is his own self's worst critic. I don't think knowing Bruno in the last 5 seasons now, I don't think Bruno is going to be the player whom is going to sink either under pressure or because he's got much money now, in his purse. I don't think that's the case. I just think he's having sort of like a slow start to the season, and I thought I just needed probably I wouldn't have cared if he had probably taken off Bruno also from the game, taken off Bruno and Eriksen, left Zexi as a 10, as a proper 10, and probably brought Kase and brought maybe either Kase and Kobe, whatever, or Mount and Kobe, whichever one he brought in for me would have been all right, just to trick things, because the midfield, it was no longer about the long balls were not there. That's 20 was comfortable. So we were just passing the ball before them. So you needed some dynamics. Just give them something, a mix of what maybe they didn't prepare for. Surprise them, sort of. So that was what it was. The game for me, that was what the game was begging for. But somehow the coach waited for too long, and before he made his substitutes, and probably that cost us the game. Because I was saying it with my mate here, like, the longer the game stayed 1-0, like, the nerves were there.
Yeah,
Like
1-0 is a dangerous score.
yeah. Yeah, nerves. For me, my nerves are already wrecking. And then the moment 20, it was clear that 20 was going into the game. All their substitutions, it went for me decently okay for them, even up until the goal, and even after the goal. I think after the goal, for another 5 to 10 minutes, they still were heaping pressure on Manchester United, looking like they was going to get a second. Yeah, looking like they was going to get a second. So it worked out for them tactically. It worked out for them, but for the switch up for me, it was late. It just happened maybe the last 10-12 minutes of the game. I thought that switch up would have happened earlier to give probably maybe about 20 minutes to the new players, because like the players you're also bringing on are hungry themselves. Højlund is hungry. Garnacho is unhappy. He's on the bench. So I just thought it would have been earlier, just to change the game. But it is what it is. But I'm so confident the group, we are just going to do well. I just hope also that by weekend, he doesn't start Eriksen, because, my argument has always been this. Eriksen is decent for a team like this. You're playing West Bromwich Albion, you're playing 20, you're playing Barnsley, you can play Eriksen. But I just hope they are not going to have to start Eriksen against Spurs, because the legs in the Spurs midfield, they will run rugged through us, and it's just going to tire out Ugarte and probably lead to we seeing the worst of Ugarte, probably where you have to be making rash decisions, plunging into tackles and that. So I just don't know. I'm still.
Or any positives? Do you have any positives to take from this game?
Yeah, it's still the same Manchester United. We can possess the ball. Look, it's not really a case of, like I say, it's not a case of talent or quality. I just think it's a case of having the team collectively function effectively as a unit. That's the coach's responsibility. It's not, if you look at these players, if you spread them out individually, they are quality. Each of them are quality. And to be fair, like I was telling you, I've told you a couple of times, I've watched some of all these boys who didn't make it, in Manchester United in the most recent weeks. When Luton Town came to play Portsmouth, I watched what's this lad's name? This boy who left Manchester United, who plays in Luton, the guy who has hair. Yeah, Tai Chong and all those guys. I've watched Tai Chong. I've watched there's this other lad again. A couple of these lads who left Manchester United. And look, I tell you, if you remain in Manchester United and you are starting or you are coming as a sub, look, you are quality. I told you my mates who went to see the Manchester United game against Southampton, what they said to me about Kobe Mino and Ahmad. They was like, these guys are proper footballers. These boys really know. It was like that there are a lot of stuff camera doesn't show us that these lads were doing in terms of positioning, reaction, and all that stuff. So like, it's back to what I'm saying. I'm just buttressing my point where I mean, it's not about quality. It's about Erik. It's about Erik's ability to read the game. For this is third season now, he's still yet to prove himself to be a good reader of the game, with his substitutes. We've always seen his substitutions. We've almost never been impressed by his substitutions. You can cherry pick the number of times that Erik have sort of like impressed, that his substitutions have come on to bar Garnacho coming on to secure us a couple of goals 2 seasons ago, and then what he has done in so far this season. So you could see that most times. I don't know how he reads the game, his in-game, analysis together with his team, and then their ability to tweak the game and surprise the opponent, during a football match. So for me tonight, it's not on the players. Tonight is on the coach. He should have rested. I'm not saying Bruno is a bad player, but I thought Bruno should have come out slightly earlier, or should have left the game entirely. I thought also Eriksen should have left the game earlier. For me, when the game was going the way it was going, at about like 70th minute, I was actually calling for Eriksen's substitution because it was clear that these guys were becoming stronger, they were becoming bolder, they were charging through the midfield, and they were seeing spaces and running through these spaces. And we know that once a team, we're up against a team that has become that confident and are willing to play through channels, through spaces. Eriksen is not the best player to play at this age because he has never really been the fastest player to cover spaces and tackle balls, and not now at his age and then considering his health condition. So these are the things that he's had. Look, you can't impress all the players at all times. He has had a very good season so far. He has started so well this season, but sometimes you just have to pull the plug. It's just clear. Like it's sad, really.
Let's see if things will change on Sunday or is it Saturday or Sunday? I don't know when they are playing Tottenham, but the next game is against Tottenham. But let's see how it goes. Thank you very much for joining me, Dan. I'll see you after the Tottenham game.
Yeah, before the Tottenham game though. Before. Okay. And then after.
All right.
Yeah, all right. I just hope Eriksen doesn't start. Really, I just hope he goes with a lot of strength in that midfield because there's a lot of running that's going to happen over the weekend. There's going to be a lot of running. We all know the way Ange's team, loves to play a lot of energy and pace. Even when they are trailing, they still come at you. They keep coming at you until the last blast of the whistle. So we fingers crossed. So we'll just see what happens.
All right. Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
And you too.
Bye.
Bye.